Okay, I think we can go ahead and get started. Hi again, my name is Michelle Watson, and I'm pleased to introduce our next presenter, Brittany Porter. Brittany is the Development Coordinator and Walk Manager at NAMI New Hampshire. She has been on staff and a member of the development team for 9 years. Brittany was recently named one of New Hampshire's 40 under 40 in recognition of her achievements. This morning, Brittany will provide you with all the important updates about the 2025 walk, share inspiring stories, and tell you how you can get involved. We would like to express our sincerest gratitude to our sponsors who help make today's conference free of charge. Our Hope sponsor is Johnson & Johnson, and we will share a recorded message from Ward Bennett of Johnson & Johnson at the closing session this afternoon. So Brittany, I'm going to stop sharing and you can go ahead and get started.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Michelle. Right, I'm just going to share my screen. Does that look good? Can I get a thumbs up from Michelle?
Yep, that looks good.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Well, hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today to learn more about NAMI Walks New Hampshire. This is our 23rd walk, and this one is extra special for me because while this will be my 10th walk, it will be the very first for my son, who is joining us in August, and the first walk I attend as a participant, as I will be on maternity leave. He has been relatively quiet all morning, but I have to assume I'm going to start getting kicked during this presentation because that's just how things work. So if I make a funny face or I pause, that's probably why. But enough about me. Let's talk about the walk. So for my newbies, and I hope there are new folks on this presentation, I love our longtime walkers, but this is just such a great event that we are trying to grow every year. NAMI Walks New Hampshire is the state's largest mental health awareness and suicide prevention event. Every fall, thousands of Granite Staters lace up their sneakers and walk together through the city of Concord to stomp out the stigma and unite under the rallying call of mental health for all. NAMI Walks New Hampshire is free, family-friendly, and fun. So why do we walk? We walk to promote awareness of mental health and reduce stigma. We walk to raise funds for NAMI New Hampshire's free support, education, and advocacy programs, and we walk to build community and let people know that they are not alone. Many folks who attend have very personal reasons for walking. They walk to remember a loved one, they walk to support a family member or a friend, and some folks walk for themselves. Whatever the reason, we are all united under the rallying call, mental health for all. So let's talk a little bit about last year's season. Last year, NAMI Walks New Hampshire held a record-breaking event on Sunday, October 6th. We had over 1,500 pre-registered participants. We had 151 teams and raised over $220,000 to support NAMI New Hampshire's mission. And most importantly, 100% of those funds stayed right here in the Granite State. NAMI National has continued to waive their licensing fee. So once again, this year, all funds raised for the walk will stay right here in our state. Now, looking ahead to this year, our theme is I am, you are, we are NAMI Walks New Hampshire. I absolutely love this theme, and I can't think of anything more appropriate. Over the past 23 years, the walk has grown from 80 folks walking together to several thousand walking strong through the streets of Concord. Through rainy and cold events, very recently some 80-degree events, and 2 COVID years, when we could not be together, you, our NAMI New Hampshire family, have continued to show up for your neighbors, your friends, your family, and yourselves. We are one of the smallest states in the country, and let me tell you, we are one of the bigger walks, which I think is just so tremendous. That is because of your support. We are NAMI Walks New Hampshire. So in 2025, NAMI Walks New Hampshire will be on Sunday, October 5th. As always, we will be at the soccer fields on South Fruit Street here in Concord. Registration opens at 9 a.m. and the walk will start at 10:30. And registration is open right now at namiwalksnh.org. So the 5K walk begins at 10:30 a.m. and we have a shorter route available for those who may, including maybe myself this year, a shorter route available for folks who need it. Friendly dogs are welcome, but please, please, please have them on a leash. There will be refreshments, games, and entertainment. Please make sure to come before our morning program that typically starts around 10. There will be music, there will be activities and fun booths to check out, and then there will be snacks and water for after the walk. The NAMI Walks New Hampshire Kids Zone will return. And for those of you not familiar, the Kids Zone is a place for our youngest walkers to have fun. We are going to have a bounce house. We have a puppet show, face painting, and more, all staffed by NAMI New Hampshire's Children Department. Please swing by and say hi. This is super fun. And then, as you can see from our mascot, Carl, who is down the hall from me right now, the pet costume contest will return virtually. This is a beloved event that was created by a youth volunteer and continues to delight. So submit a picture of your costume pet. This is just a fun way to bring more eyes to the walk and more eyes to NAMI New Hampshire's mission. And it pays tribute to our furry family members who often play a huge part in supporting our mental health. So how do you get involved? The most important thing, register, register, register. You can register as a team captain. That means you are going to gather a group of friends, family members, coworkers, your dentist, your dog, whomever, and you're going to walk together. If you want to be a team member, you can register as a team member. Individual participant means you would just like to walk by yourself or with a friend. And virtual participant means you would like to be a part of NAMI Walks New Hampshire, but can't join us on October 5th. We have a registration contest going on right now that the only folks who are able to enter this contest are you right here in this session. And how you enter is you're already halfway there, and then register. Registration is free, and I'm going to choose one of the folks who do that, and you'll be entered to win this awesome NAMI Walks hat. And we're also going to run a second contest. That is for anyone who registers over the course of the next week. So you will be the only person who has 2 chances to enter. This is probably the easiest contest to win because it's the fewest people who have registered thus far. So right after my session, I encourage you to go to namiwalksnh.org and get registered. And I also just want to say our registration numbers don't differentiate between virtual and in-person, and we use these numbers to get future sponsorships. Pre-registration is super, super, super important this year because, as I said, I have to go somewhere in August and be a mom. So I won't be around to answer all those registration questions, and our development team is going to be very, very busy. So the biggest baby gift you could give to me would be to register today. Not to guilt you or anything. We also have sponsorship opportunities ranging from $500 to $15,000. And another way you can get involved is to join our walk committee. We meet on the 3rd Wednesday of the month from 5:30 to 6:30 on Zoom. This is a great group of people. And if you want to see how the walk gets planned, or if you want to have a say in how the walk looks, come on down and join us. So brand new this year is the Fundraise for NAMI app. This app brings you mobile fundraising tools and can help you raise funds and grow your team. You will see before you 2 QR codes. One is for folks with iPhones, one is for folks with Androids. I want to say off the top, you do not need to use this app. I know there is an app for everything nowadays, and some people are happier using their desktop or fundraising by asking for cash or checks. Checks, remember those? That is totally okay. This is supposed to make fundraising easier for you. So if it doesn't, you do not need to use it. But if you are interested, you can use these QR codes to download the app. You must register for NAMI Walks New Hampshire online before you're able to log in. I understand that that's a little funky that you can't register right from the app. This is a brand new tool from NAMI National, so there are still some issues to be worked out. And if you have any suggestions while using the app, feel free to send them my way. I will be happy to share those with our team at National. My colleagues and I had the opportunity to have a walkthrough earlier this week. And while there are a few things that I find clunky because, again, this app is brand new, there are some great tools, including being able to pull up QR codes so folks can donate to or join your team. And we have the opportunity to post important updates, maybe reminders about our kickoff or reminders about picking up t-shirts. So if you are an app person, go ahead and download that right now. I would also like to share our FAQ that we created last year. Though this was created for our 2024 walk, and I do see our last year's date on there just once. Remember, this year it's October 5th. It still has plenty of great tips and answers to some of our most frequently asked walk questions. So enough from me. I would like to welcome Heidi Canton. Heidi is NAMI New Hampshire's community educator and outreach coordinator in adult programs. But can I just say she wears so many hats? She is NAMI New Hampshire's preferred florist, and also mine. She provided the flowers for my wedding. And she is the person behind the beautiful balloon arch that has been a staple of NAMI Walks New Hampshire before I even ever stepped foot on the soccer field for the first time. But today she is here to talk about her experience as a team captain. So welcome, Heidi. I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you so much, Heidi.
We're one of the first people on the field the morning of the walk because we do the balloon arch. My husband willingly always gets up early that day, so it's kind of a fun way to start off the walk.
It is awesome, and we are so grateful to have you both. So I'm just going to ask you some questions, and would you just tell me about your first experience at NAMI Walks New Hampshire?
Yeah, so the first year I did the NAMI New Hampshire walk, I was a single mom. My son was 8. He was newly diagnosed, and I was connected to NAMI through a support group on the Seacoast. And I always felt alone during that journey. And when we showed up on that field to do that first walk, I, for the first time in a long time, felt like I wasn't alone and that there were other people going through similar things that I was going through.
And I mean, you've been attending the walk longer than I have. What are some of the biggest changes you've seen between then and now?
So the thing that, so I've grown, so I was not NAMI staff now, I am NAMI staff. I will say that every year when I attend the walk, when my husband and I get in our car to drive home, we always have an impact story, either somebody that we met that day or somebody shared something or just the high from seeing all the people that show up. I think the thing that I love is that it's such a well-rounded crowd. And so again, whether you walk or whether you decide to stay behind and sit and, watch people watch, we also always need people cheering people on. So encouraging people to join on that part. But I just like the fact that no matter where you are, whether you're a family member or an individual, that you feel so welcome that day. And that's the part that I think is the most important thing.
So, tell me a little bit about your experience as a team captain.
So every year always did a team captain and not successfully. So there were many years I just would be like, I'll be a team captain and, whatever. And basically it was me, my husband and my son, and we raised some money, but, just not very much. So my coworker Martha and I decided several years ago, we were both working on the information and resource line at that time. And we decided to do a team called Team INR. And part of that was during coming out of the COVID times. And we really saw the importance of what New Hampshire residents were asking for during those times. And the fact that our programs like our education, our support and advocacy programs for individuals and families remain free. They remain free because of the money that we are able to raise during these times of the walk. And so we launched this huge, we have our own Facebook page. We launched our whole team and we did some crazy fundraising and outside of the box ideas. And I think that year we were actually in the top 5 teams. So we are going to rebrand our team this year. So we actually in the month of April, we'll be changing our Facebook page, and our team is going to be Team CAN, C-A-N, Do. So that stands for Canton and Doherty. And and part of that is that name comes about around all the areas of why we do the NAMI walk. So can we bust stigma? We can do. Can we raise money? We can do. And so we already have lots of ideas for fundraisers. And the thing about the fundraisers is we do know that the money is important. But last year we did a yard sale, and even though we raised money, that day we were able to interact with people and tell them more about the work that NAMI New Hampshire does. And we had so many people that didn't buy anything at the yard sale, but they dropped money into our donation jar because they saw the value of the work of NAMI New Hampshire.
I love that. And I've loved seeing you just, I would say, blossom in the last few years as a team captain. Your team has been so successful and just so amazing. And you make my job easier. Could you speak to some of the challenges of having a team or being a team captain?
So I guess if I was being a team captain the first year is, you know, whether you raise $100 or, you know, $10,000, is that I think just taking that initial first step and not being shy and asking people to join your team. I mean, you know, if there's an incentive to have the largest team, then I'm going to go for that, you know, or, so I think the thing is that it could be like overwhelming if you look at last year's numbers and say, well, there's no way I could raise that much money. Don't look at that as being your challenge going into it. Look at as, you know, we as a family are going to start a team this year, and this is our goal to raise this much money, and then just see where it takes you. But also looking at other people on your team to like what their strengths are. Like maybe one of the people on your team might say, well, I'll lead this piece of the fundraiser, or I work someplace that matches, you know, donors, or whatnot. So I think just kind of going into it and also knowing that there's lots of support at NAMI New Hampshire. So if you're like, want to just brainstorm even a crazy idea, you could reach out to another team member or somebody at the office, and they'll gladly say, yes, that sounds like an awesome idea, and go for it. So
Awesome. What was the best part of the experience?
I think some of those connections that we made along the way, we all know that everybody has a story, and sometimes we don't know what people's stories are or whatnot. But even one night, one of the fundraisers I did was at a pizza place in Epping. And that night, so many people came up to me and said, this is important to me because of my son, or this is important to me because I have a sister. And so if we hadn't been there and had a table at that restaurant that night, those people wouldn't have had that opportunity to make those connections and share those stories, which is so important as part of that stigma busting that we all care about. And so I think the more we can put out there that this is why we do it. Martha and I share openly why we do this and why this is important to us. But when we do that, we also let those others that are joining our team or just sponsoring us a little bit have that same opportunity to share their story, why it's important to them.
Thank you. Last question. Any advice for folks interested in joining us this year?
Yeah, so I agree. If you're watching this right now, jump on. That hat looks awesome, so it's worth jumping on. I'm always willing to do something for a prize. In fact, Martha and I are planning on having some prizes throughout the next few months. So I think the thing is just join, and then, you know, as much support you need to make it successful, or as Brittany says, joining the walk committee is really a fun committee to join. Because you can kind of learn more about the walk as you go, but you also may have a strength that you might be able to share and help on that day to make the walk even better. We're always learning and open to new ideas.
Thank you so much, Heidi. And I just want to say, like, an all around thank you. NAMI Walks New Hampshire is my job. It's not Heidi's, but Heidi is with me every step of the way. She helps me with walk committee. She makes our beautiful balloon art. She is always there with her ideas. and she is a fantastic fundraiser, but most importantly, mental health care advocate. So thank you so much for joining us, Heidi.
Thank you.
Awesome. So, Kristen, any questions in the chat?
So we did have one question in the Q&A. Is there a fee to use the app as NAMI New Hampshire?
That is a great question. Not only is there no fee with the app, there is no fee whatsoever for registering for NAMI Walks New Hampshire. We want this to be no barriers. Anyone who wants to join and be a part of it can.
Are there any other questions for Brittany or for Heidi before we wrap up? I know you're not asking questions because you're all busy registering right now for the walk.
Yes, so you can get this
Well done,
awesome
that.
hat.
I will say that I have my prize from last year, this sweatshirt, and it's definitely better in person. So that's the other part, is there's always awesome incentives. I've gotten a really awesome backpack one year and whatnot. So, you know, you might start off just doing the walk, like saying it's important to me, but Brittany does always make sure we have some pretty cool prizes along the way too.
Thank you.
We like to take care of our folks. So, yeah. Oh, we have one more question. Let's see. Oh, it's a comment for Heidi. Cindy is looking forward to joining you again this year, Heidi. And Cindy, we're so grateful for all your support. Thank you so much for being a part of the walk and for all you do.
Yes, you know, I'll do a little plug for Team Can Do again. So we'll definitely have our team up probably very shortly. We will take any members to our walk team. So sometimes I feel it feels better to join a team than to do it individually, because then you feel like you're already part of community. And then also when you show up on the field that day, you know, Martha and I are both always there pretty early, is that you again can have somebody to walk with or just someone else to hang out with, but you already feel going into it that you're part of a community besides the big, huge walk. So we'll gladly take anyone on our team.
And one more question for you, Heidi. Will you be posting the new link to your team on the INR site?
Yes, we will.
Okay. And then another question, this one's for you, Brittany. If you've already registered, are you able to change your team?
Absolutely. I can help you with that. If you want to send me an email at bporter@naminh.org, I would be more than happy to help you change your registration. That is no problem.
And I'm putting your email in the Q&A for that individual.
Excellent.
Any other last questions before we wrap it up?
So Brittany, how soon do they have to register in order to get into that awesome opportunity to win that hat? Is it by the end of the day today, or?
So there are 2 chances to win. For the conference related one, as long as you're registered by the end of the day today, you'll be entered to win. But I'm also going to run a contest over the course of the next week. So anyone who registers, so that can also be a fun incentive for your friends or family to get registered as well, will be entered to win.
Well, I don't see any other questions, and just wanted to say, you know, that truly the walk is just an absolute honor and joy for us as a development team. It's really a labor of love, and we really could not do it without all of you. And so, you know, as Brittany said so eloquently, we are all NAMI Walks, and you know, thank you so much for everything that everyone in this organization and the community does to make this event such an incredible awareness raising opportunity and a fundraising event too. So we are truly grateful.
So thank you, Brittany and Heidi and Kristen, for being here this afternoon. It really is an amazing event, and being on the field with, you know, 1,000, 2,000 people, depending on the day, is really just something that you have to experience. You can't really describe it. So thank you all for joining us for We Are NAMI Walks New Hampshire, bringing hope, help, and healing to the Granite State. We have a 15-minute expo break, or break before the expo. So go grab your lunch and join us for some short presentations. In a minute, I will share a few slides on how to get into the expo if you're looking for an additional help. And then at 1 o'clock, I'm thrilled to have our afternoon keynote presenter, Kim LaMontagne. She will share her story from recovery to resilience. And then we will have a short presentation from New Hampshire Governor Kelly Ayotte at 2:30. This session, along with all of our others, has been